Aloha Manga Club, it's your boy Lohali signing in for take number 2 with Flip Otaku.
We just did an hour and a half podcast, and it's never going to see the light of day.
I have actually deleted it by now. That was probably one of the weirdest experiences recording a podcast I've ever had, I think.
Honestly, I forgot we were recording, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just catching up with Brian."
Yeah,
just, and then I mean, there are some things that probably should not have been said.
Absolutely.
Like there's a unaired episode of the Flipcast with me and Alonzi, where me and him go in on some people that will never see the light of day.
Oh yeah, one of them was me. Absolutely, I was probably one of the.
Absolutely, we hate you.
I'm glad.
We hate. Bring back cereal, whatever the fuck.
Let's get cereal.
Let's get cereal. Bring it back. I'm gonna be Migs. Where is it at? What's happening?
I'm sorry, Migs. I didn't know. Okay, I actually haven't seen anything by Migs.
I love Migs, dude. Migs is a funny guy, but he he's just such a goofball, man. I don't know.
His whole fairy tale thing threw me off for a little while. Sorry, Migs.
Is he serious about fairy tale?
That when he initially did it, like last year, that whole like you didn't ever see Miggs's fairy tale. I can't think of the right word. His whole love of fairy tale on his OG channel.
He actually loves fairy tale.
Yes, like non-ironically.
Miggs, it must be a Portuguese thing, dude. They're weird.
I mean, Portuguese is just like off Spanish.
Oh man. So Brian, how have you been, dude? How's quarantine going?
Quarantine's going the exact same as my regular life because I still have to go to work I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be to work by 6. Isn't terrible. Not that bad. But it's why I don't do any late night stuff here. My gym is closed down, which is terrible. I love Strong Barbell Club Kansas City. I will rep it wherever I go just because I love the people there. It's a great environment. We have a couple 1,000-pound squatters, one of the strongest women of all time. Her weight class is 165, and she's going to try to squat 600 pounds. She's probably going to squat 640 at her next meet.
Damn.
Yeah. She's a pretty strong girl. Pretty strong girl and ridiculously nice. We have one of the strongest female juniors. She is 15, I think, right now, and she squats like 350, pulls 350, benches like 200. She's a pretty strong little beast. Like I said, we've got a couple world-class Olympic weightlifters who've competed in the United States Olympic game, like United States version of the Olympic Games. I can't think what that's called. But nationals, basically Olympics national, like weightlifting nationals, and they've podiumed. One of them's podiumed. He's been there 7 times, and he's podiumed 6.
Damn.
Yeah. So, like I said, other than that, my life's going pretty normal. So I'm still on that kind of back foot of trying to catch up with all my manga, reading One Piece, reading My Hero Academia. Both of those, obviously, through Viz. This way, Zach doesn't come and get me. Sorry, Zach. I love you.
Zach reads scans too. Don't let him fool you.
Zach is actually the secret man behind Manga Rock.
Zach owns Manga Rock. This whole thing was a big plot. He wanted to make as much money as possible.
So he played both sides of the deal. I knew it, Zach. I always knew it.
Zach from Uchu Shelf, more like Poo Poo Shelf. Zach's honestly, no offense to anybody, Zach's my best friend. I talk to him the most. We connect on an emotional level the most, and we both send each other nudes at least once a week. So
that's it. Only once a week. We send each other nudes twice a week.
I don't know how you wear a headband constantly, dude. It's so obnoxious. And just so people know, so for the folks at home that know, this headband is very on brand for me because it is a Getter Robo headband. So you got Getter Robo right there.
Boom.
New Getter Robo, to be exact. The somewhat Isekai Getter Robo. I'm gonna give you a crash course on Mecha and Toku, Lohali.
All right, let's give me a crash course on Mecha and Toku.
All right. When you want giant robots, do you want goofy or do you want serious?
I want a good mix. I like levity in my serious stories.
Okay.
Like again, my top 5 manga. It's Hajime no Ippo. It's Pluto, 20th Century Boys, One Piece, I Shield 21.
Hajime no Ippo, baby.
I know. You keep throwing that in my face every single time that we have a live stream together or a podcast together. It's right there. It's like you planned to pull it out in front of me.
It's actually, I just have all my bootlegs right here because I was doing a video on them, but then decided not to. Just because now I have friends in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where, as much as I love getting free bootlegs, which hopefully, by the way, who sends them to me, don't stop. I enjoy them. I've never paid for any. So that's the important differential there. I've never paid for any of these. These get sent to me for free. And I don't even really have to advertise. People would just message me and say, hey, where'd you get that? And I just point them in the right direction. I'm just happy I own my personal favorite, Evangelion.
Sorry, is that the proper dub?
It is. That's why. So that's the thing. People can show on bootlegs all you want. I like to, for a preservation standpoint, there's no legal way to get this dub.
No.
At all. You just can't. It's not available for a decent price. Like, who wants to pay like $1,000? I mean, I would if I couldn't get them. Honestly, I love Evangelion. I love it. I think it's incredible. I'm actually reading this Evangelion Anima, which is a light novel. The guy who designed all the mechs in Evangelion started writing. So he wrote this story, and it's honestly, if you just anime-fied Evangelion. So Evangelion's a very depressive series. And in the history of
like light for what Evangelion is.
Yeah, here's the thing. A lot of people, I don't want to say the word normies.
You can say the word normies. It's acceptable.
A lot of normies are like, nothing is like, listen, there's a show called Space Runaway Ideon that did a lot of the same themes that Evangelion is credited for doing, but it did it in the 80s. Directed by Tomino, the same guy who created Gundam. Went on I think it was his work right after Gundam, as he did Space Runaway Ideon. And it's a super serious, super dark show, but it's a little bit more subtle in its themes, the same themes that Evangelion has. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Tomino, he has literally a mecha. He's created a mecha anime for every single, he's got the big goofy giant robot. He's done Zambot 3. He's done the more real as at the time real Gundam, and then he did something a little bit more serious with Ideon. And I think Ideon it's one of, man, if I made a top 10 list of favorite animes, it's up there.
How up there? Like, is it just in the top 10? Is it top 8?
If I'm gonna say, okay, so my favorite anime of all time is a very generic answer for people our age, but it's Cowboy Bebop, which also is a Sunrise show. The same people who did Gundam. Sunrise is notorious. I think they're my favorite studio. Cowboy Bebop, Gundam Unicorn, Gurren Lagann,
you're thinking
Evangelion. Ideon or Evangelion can be interchangeable for me. Right now, I'm really into Evangelion because I'm reading Anima. But I'm looking at my shelf, and there's just so many good mecha animes, dude. King of the Braves, Gal Gaigar, incredible. New Getter Robo's good. Any of the Getter Robo that's out in English is good. Gotcha Man. I love Gotcha Man.
So I guess here's a question: is mecha anime good because it's so again niche? It's not trying to insult it as niche, but is it so good because it sticks to its niche? It doesn't try to.
Well,
It doesn't pretend to be anything else.
you know, the when I really like a mech anime is mostly because of the characters. It's not really necessarily for the mechs. The mechs are like the icing on the cake. They're the
Yeah.
cherry on top. They're like the cool thing that you get like as a little treat at the end of each episode. Um, but mecha anime is very and vastly different. Um, you can get very goofy Gurren Lagann. That pays homage to the old super robot shows of yesteryear. If you want to start talking like a real critic, like Ted Sujin 28, Mazinger, Getter Robo. Um, what is that?
That's a plane.
That's a plane.
That's a plane. That's
Uh,
terrifying.
I was like, man, that sounds like someone dying. But you talk about like old giant robot series. You got Daitar, like the three big giant robot series of the time, like Raideen, Daitarn, Tridar, G7, Zambot 3, Space Emperor God Sigma. Those shows are really stupid, goofy, over the top. More serious, like even like Steel Jag and Grandizer, and then like more fantasy based, but like a large cast of characters. You got like Escaflowne, Panzerworld Galliant. You got Aura Battle or Dumbbind. Those are all like fantasy based mecha series, and then you get like the almost real, series like Gundam. It's about as real as you could get at the time, but then now you got stuff like Armor Trooper Votons, which was I think mid to late '80s, early '90s. Um, and yeah, Mecha isn't as popular anymore, but every year there's like 1 to 2 good mecha shows that are like really good. Because I think like right now, the people making mecha shows are just old fans of mecha shows. You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
they create mecha because they love mecha.
yeah, and like there's 1,000 fucking isekais. That's why I can't, like, even though like let's say reincarnate as a slime, and people who are really like really into that probably look at me and go, all those robots look the same. But it's like, yeah, in a way, but like also for a good mecha show to be good, it has to have good characters, it has to have good writing, it has to have a good plot.
It has to follow the
But
same structure as any good story.
yeah, but at the same time though, Mazinger, like the old Mazinger, it's all about the robots and the monsters. Like that's all it is. But at the same time, I love mechanical designs. Like I love the look and designs of robots.
Salud.
Woo! Thank you. But I love the look and designs of robots, and I love that you can look at a period and be like, "That's a giant robot. Like that's a giant, goofy robot from the '70s and '80s." You can look at the period where the OVAs were getting like super over the top, serious and dark. You can like tell that time, and then I think honestly, the golden age of mech is probably 2020, like 2009. Um, you have the Evangelion rebuild films, which I think are better than the original series. You got Gundam Seed. You get Gundam Unicorn. Um, you got Star Driver. What else came out in the 2000s? Overman Gynar. Um,
Uh,
Gurren Lagann.
I
Like
was
that
gonna
was
say
Gurren Lagann was probably the last big hurrah for giant robots. Like not just mecha, but like the giant robot genre, because it plays very much into the goofiness while still having relatable enough characters.
I'm actually very surprised that that's as short as it was. There's
Oh,
only
dude, they could have.
27 episodes.
But that's the thing that makes it great is that when you look back on a lot of these mecha, like a lot of these giant robot shows, um, they're like 50 episodes, 30 episodes, 40 episodes. Very rarely are one of these shows from the 70s and 80s 20 episodes, 25 episodes. And I think it's because they used, same with American animation studios, they used a lot of restock footage. Just like if like you go back and watch like old He-Man cartoons
Oh
and
yeah.
Gotcha Man, for instance, a lot of it is just repurposed animations. Um, Obviously to save on budget, and to kind of every week you have to have and to sell toys. People forget robot shows are made to sell toys.
They're 100%
That's
made
why
to sell toys.
and people can say all that you want, talk all your shit about mecha is no longer relevant. Gunpla is one of the biggest industries in Japan. Like, period. The model kits are fucking huge. And if robots were irrelevant, Gunpla kits wouldn't be
nearly
as big
popular.
as
yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of stuff is OVAs now, and a lot of people forget, the OVAs started as a thing when the home market, over in Japan they were having an economic boom.
Yeah.
All right, I think everyone's doing coke and throwing money at these fucking animators.
Wolf on Wall Street kind of shit.
Yeah, and when the home video market became, reasonably affordable for every person in Japan, like every home had a laser disc or a VHS player. Companies started funding these. It started off hyper violent shows that weren't allowed on TV. So OVAs back in the day were not released on television. Maybe like a small 20-minute cut of an episode was shown, but it was put out on home video. Like the first, like the big ones that come to mind are Bubblegum Crisis, Megazone 23, 80 Police even. But there was this period in the late 80s, early 90s where I think Japan was the most creative and sci-fi in general. Like, there wasn't a lot of fantasy OVAs. It's like crazy sci-fi. Even if it's not a mech, like the Bubblegum Crisis suits, they're like robotic suits.
Yeah.
They're like hard suits. But I think robots are just so fucking cool. Like, and how different they can be. You can get something that looks organic. You can get something that looks like it belongs in the military, or you can get stuff where you can tell they're trying to sell toys. Like Voltron. You got all these different, which, by the way, the Voltron shows are Go Lion and Dairuger. Those were made to sell toys. That's why, I'll go on eBay and I'll see if this show has because right now they're going through like a Blu-ray renaissance.
Yeah.
Over in Japan, where they're just cranking out and not remaking, but like, dude, have you seen? Speaking of remaking stuff, have you seen Right Stuff? Their publishing company, Nozomi. They're the ones who put out all the Gundam here on Blu-ray. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's a little familiar, but I'm not gonna lie, I can't name anything specific.
They've been putting out these really nice box sets. They put out one for Gundam Wing. They touched up Gundam Wing a little bit. Double O has a really nice box set, but it didn't really need to be touched up. It looks great. And then G Gundam got a big box set. They're going in, and Sunrise is going in and adding animation and reanimating a lot of Gundam Seed. Like, it's pretty much a remaster from the ground up at this point. And and they're going to redub it. It's at a higher frame rate. It's just insane. So they put up on Right Stuff's website, on their like news or something, they put up side by side of this is the old footage, this is the new footage. And the old footage, in your brain, you think the new footage is what it looked like, but the old footage is very much like a close up of a Gundam going to shoot his gun, just a picture of bullets coming out. You know what I mean? Like, very crappy animation. Not the whole thing, but they're going back and they're redoing those scenes and making them look so fucking good. I'm so excited for that, because I have all of Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny and all the movies, all the OVAs, everything. I actually think Gundam Seed is really good. A lot of people shit on it. I think the designs are really good. Like, I still need to build this big motherfucker.
That is
but that's one of the coolest designs. This is 1/60th scale.
But also, I want to be real here. Whenever I think of Gundam, that's the that specific Gundam is the one that I always think of when I say Gundam.
Or Gundam Wing, probably too. The one with the angel wings.
No, it's that one with the blue face and the yellow and the red and.
Well, not a lot of people knows Gundam Seed was the best-selling anime of the last decade. Not the previous, not this.
Yeah.
From 2000 to 2009, the best-selling anime of that decade. it was huge, and now people kind of shit on it. They're very much like, oh, it wasn't that good. Destiny is not that good.
Okay,
But
so
Seed itself,
the one that I think of is Mobile Suit Gundam RX-78-2.
RX-78 too.
Yeah.
78 too.
Like, whenever I think Gundam, that's the exact model that pops in my head.
Well, that's the classic.
But that's why, yeah. So whenever I think Gundam, that's literally the only image that ever pops to my head, like ever.
That's the classic. You know, that's a very iconic looking design too.
I mean,
the yellow, the red, and the blue are just so fucking good.
It looks good, and they carry it on in other Gundams as well.
Yeah, because it's such an iconic design, and like, you know, that was not like I was telling you earlier. You know, Gundam when it first came out wasn't a success.
No,
it was a failure of a show. The movies and the Gunpla are what really saved the franchise, and I'm glad it did, because it's like I was telling you on our first airing of this
on the secret club,
on the secret, the Patreon exclusive $100 tier club. It's I watched all of Universal Century, and it's one of the best stories of all time. But I digress.
By the way, I want everyone to know, if you see me taking like really deep breaths and sighing, I'm not upset with anything. That's literally, I have a resting bitch breathing.
You have resting bitch face.
I do, like straight up. I got asked in 7th grade at the skating rink. We had a rollerblade roller skating rink that like all the middle school kids would go to, and I had one kid ask me, he's like, "Hey man, you got some weed, bro?" And I had never smoked, you know. I was in 7th grade. I was like, no. He's like, "Oh, you always just look so high here. I figured I had some weed." And I was like, good to know I have resting high face. Great.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, if you looked at me, you'd probably assume that I was a stoner. I had drugs.
Oh, you have long hair.
Yeah. Well, we made a joke last year, me and one of my coworkers.
People think I was a stoner too. I smoked weed once in my life.
Yes, once. That's me for sure.
I didn't like it.
You don't have to. It's a great thing.
I ate a weed brownie. Did I tell you that story? I think I told that story.
That's a bad idea. That's a bad. If that's, you can't go from 0 to weed brownie.
Weed brownies. I was at a music festival. I was 340 pounds. So someone said, "Hey, does anybody want brownies?" In my fat brain, I was like, "Dude, I love brownies." So I had like 2 brownies.
That's bad. That's bad. That's very bad.
And very bad. And then we went on the Ferris wheel, and we got to the very top.
Nope.
And I had a massive panic attack. I took off all my clothes but my underwear, tied it around my head, because in my brain, if we fall and I protect my head, I will survive.
Okay, I want to point out that's terrifying and scary. That's also amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
you were able to get your clothes out.
Very sound thinking. Very sound thinking.
I'm more impressed that you were able to get your clothes off at the top of the Ferris wheel.
It's one of those big Ferris wheels that fit like 6 people. So like, I was able to like curl up on a ball and lay flat on the floor.
Okay.
You know, so
there was the highest I've been was legally, by the way, in California.
Okay.
So it was legal for me to be high. Absolutely. A friend of mine. If you have a weak stomach, y'all can avoid this. If you guys don't like weed, we'll skip ahead to some point in time. We'll probably be past this. But
we'll be talking about cocaine next.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've done cocaine thousands of times. It's a normal drug. But anyway, so I was like, I had like an extra $20. I was like, okay, I'll just go buy something. Like, you can buy a joint, you can buy this. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna buy myself a small piece of chocolate, nice little edible. It cost me $18. First of all, $18 gets you a lot more than you actually think it's going to get you. And so I buy myself this square. It's a square of chocolate. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, I need to message my buddy and ask him, hey man, how much should I take? You're the expert. Tell me how much I should take. And he was like, well, Brian, you need to take 1 square. And again, in my mind, I'm stupid. And I'm thinking, okay, it's 1 square. I was like, that seems like a lot. Should I have half a square? He's like, you know what? That's not a terrible idea. Take half. So I break the candy bar in half. I eat it, not thinking at all. And I was like, okay, I'll probably get a little high. I'll start to feel it. I literally got so high, I lost the concept of time. Like, which sounds really dumb, but I entered a time loop. I lost the concept of time. I couldn't remember how to breathe. I couldn't remember. I thought I was like, each word that I was saying felt like a word that I had to make up and understand before I could even say the word. Like, it felt like I was making up a language as I went along. Terrifying experience. Well, I came down the next day, and I had sworn off ever getting high again, ever, on anything.
As you do.
As one does once an experience like that happens. And I turn and I'm like, man, I messaged my buddy. I was like, dude, that went south. That went so far south. Like, that went the tip of Florida. That's how far south we are. Like, Antarctica's looking up and going, man, they're really close. Anyway, turns out I took 4.5 servings.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that explains literally everything about this. I had 4.5 servings instead of the 1 serving that I was supposed to have. There were 9 servings in that. I told my buddy, he's like, dude, how did you not die? I was like, I think I did. I had a spiritual death.
That's not good, dude.
It was bad. It was terrifying.
So what happened?
Well, after what felt like years, I stopped being high the next morning, and while I was high, I threw the chocolate away. Like, I was so terrified of what was going on. Like, there are some things that I can't even explain. Have you ever had like a roly-poly or like a centipede crawl over your hand?
No, because I'm not weird.
Well, I worked in a zoo, okay? It's a normal thing if you worked in a zoo.
Of course you worked at the zoo, bro.
Yeah, of course, because I'm a normal human being. So it feels like thousands of tiny legs crawling all over you, right? This is really weird feeling. So every single time that I'd move underneath the covers of our bed, like the bed that we were staying at, this Airbnb, it felt like that motion was going all over my body, like every single time. And the only thing that kept me grounded was like having Sydney place her hand on my chest and like feeling her skin against my skin, so I could feel like down to earth. Like, that was the only thing like that stopped me from having a full like spiritual death, if that makes sense.
You sure you weren't doing methamphetamine?
No. This wouldn't have been meth. This would have been like shrooms or acid. I literally described this experience to somebody like you can get this high with weed. It's possible. That's what an overdose on weed is like. You don't die. You just get super high.
I never want to experience that.
Yeah, you don't.
That doesn't sound good at all. So, sounds awful.
Oh, it opened my eyes though.
It opened up my eyes. I saw the sign.
Just like earlier, we were singing. Just a small town girl.
Living in a lonely world. She took a midnight train going anywhere.
I do want to point out that when I when we sang this earlier tonight, I said that that's basically the white people anthem, and goes, yeah, for all of you white people, and I was like, Flip, you're white. He said, no, I'm from an island. That doesn't count.
What do you mean? My family's from an island.
Yeah, that count. How?
My DNA is more Middle Eastern than Italian, dude.
See, you didn't explain that part. You literally just said you just said from an island. You didn't say.
Don't you racially profile me?
How can I racially profile you if you didn't tell me how to racially profile?
You know what blows my mind though? You know what blows my mind?
What?
My grandparents left an island, a beautiful island, and we're like, corn. We're gonna go where corn's at.
Was that their actual thought process?
No, we had family in like Robinson, which is like a couple hours north. And then my grandfather found a town named Monticello, and he thought it was pronounced Monticello, and he thought it was going to be a big old group of Sicilians. But little did they know, they got told to go back where they came from. My mom and my aunts and uncles got stuff stuffed in their lockers, calling them the spaghetti N-word.
Sorry.
Which is honestly pretty creative.
Spaghetti. Anyway, that's bad. Now I'm just going to be thinking about like spaghetti N-word. That's bad. Like, that's bad.
It's creative.
kudos, like props to those bullies.
Bullies. Sometimes bullying is good.
Sometimes bullying teaches those pesky nerds a lesson.
Honestly, dude, it would be fantastic if I got bullied more in life because I wouldn't fucking have stacks of mecha anime and tokusatsu everywhere. I would be into like, I don't know, doing coke and fucking hookers or something. I don't know. Well, what do normal guys? Because we're not normal guys.
I mean, I think we're normal.
Okay, but like first it's like when my wife or like when people go, all guys are the same. It's like me and our friend group, we don't ever talk about girls in objectifying ways.
No.
No,
I mean, we rag on the manga and anime that are like really cringy about that kind of stuff.
Like, I mean, and I joke around and like I'll be like, well, my wife threw 0 too, but like I think we are weird because I have hung out with dudes, you know, bros.
Yeah.
And it's always like, bro, can't wait to fuck Becky. Like, it's like, dude, what? Why are you talking about that? Can we talk about how amazing Raideen is and how amazing and how much better it is than Zambot 3 and how Raideen's design was literally the anti-Mazinger design? Like, can we talk about that? No?
Like, I don't know what normal guys are like because I was bullied all growing up, so I have literally zero idea what normal dudes do in their free time. I don't have a clue.
Go golfing. I think golfing is the stupidest fucking
I hate golfing.
thing in the world.
I hate it. Like putt-putt golf, I'm cool with. I like putt-putt golf.
Hard stop here. Like hard stop, hard period. Guys who golf are trouser stains. Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop.
No,
so I want to talk to you. I have a bone to pick with you, Mr. Brown.
Oh God.
Your friend Cameron, by the way, everyone go support God Punk on Kickstarter.
Yes, please.
Amazing. You have your hand in a indie tokusatsu, and you have not seen a single tokusatsu show to completion. I don't want to gatekeep here, but that's like me. Like, you know what, guys? I'm going to start a Mexican restaurant. And the only thing I've ever made is a taco one time.
You've only made one taco?
I'm saying hypothetically.
Okay, so we're being facetious here. All right. Okay, sorry. I was about to get really concerned because you know my love of Mexican.
Honestly, dude, I think I've never made tacos. I think Taylor has made tacos. I don't think I've ever cooked tacos.
And
when I'm not at home, like when I'm not at work, I don't want to cook.
Well, I mean, that's fair. Like, that's absolutely fair because
that's why I got a wife. There we go. Now we're talking like trouser stains who golf.
Oh, man. But anyway, to defend myself here against the onslaught of hate against people who think
and I'm sure Cameron's the same way. I'm sure Cameron in the back of his mind's like, this guy doesn't even know what fucking Guy Ferd is.
I do not. You are correct.
No one does. That's actually that was a very obscure reference.
Bet you Cameron would get it though.
Actually, I don't even know, dude. I don't think Cameron would know what Guy Ferd is.
Oh, I have to ask him now.
No, make sure. So there's a show called Guy Ver. Make sure you ask him what Guyferd is.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me pull up his. Everybody, we're gonna see if we can stump Cameron. He probably won't respond to this because it's now 11:30. No, it's 11:30 at night. He has an adult job as well. He's a director for museum.
It's a museum, dude.
So they kind of direct themselves. I just spell it Guyferd
and say not Guy Ver, Guyver. Make sure you differentiate the two because they are very similar in names. Are you actually asking him?
I literally just sent him a message asking him that.
Is he online?
No, I have not seen him be online. It's not telling me when he was last online. Like, when I'm on my phone, it tells me when he was last online. When I'm on the computer, it's like, nah, screw you. I hate how they...
Yeah, why is that?
Because they want you to use your phone. It's easier to advertise through your phone. You cannot... It's harder to have ad blockers, so it's easier to advertise. Like
Ah,
that's, I know that sounds super paranoid, and it definitely is. I'm making this up. But would that not make sense that they want to push you to use your phone so you cannot block the advertisers that they're trying to send your way so they can make more money?
makes sense.
I mean, makes sense if you don't think too hard. There's
I don't.
problem.
I hardly think at all. So
We know I don't think. I just kind of I do. I do. But yeah, I'm part of a I'm helping create an absolutely groundbreaking tokusatsu inspired comic. Like we're talking gods, myths, legends. Instead of the heroes pulling the power from the morphin grid, they're pulling it from the gods themselves.
nice.
So it's like it's more of an avatar. I'm trying to think of they're the avatars of their gods. And
Okay.
yeah, right. Like and each god has their own little quirks, and we're gonna give each god kind of their day in the sun. We have the first couple arcs planned out. We have the first 3 arcs, an idea of what we want to do, and I'm not gonna lie, the third arc I am the most excited for. I will say that Flip has seen some character designs,
I have.
and I think that they're pretty. I think I haven't seen character design for like a Toku show. Usually, what I'm used to seeing. So this is again me showing my indie Toku, like my Toku anti gatekeeping thing. I haven't seen any Toku design similar to those. They usually feel more, especially with the indie scene that I've seen through Cameron's eyes. It feels more Power Ranger style.
Yeah.
If that's fair to say, they
Um.
definitely feel that way.
Yeah.
But this one, the design that we have for the 2 characters, baller. Godpunk himself and the yet to be named next guy. So excited.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you?
I am on like an 8 or a 9 because one of the characters is designed after me. Like
That's pretty fucking rad.
like how many of us get to say that we have a comic book character that is designed after us?
Well, I'm going to.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know why? You're one of the top supporters on Patreon or GoFundMe, Kickstarter.
Yep.
I get all of them mixed up. I literally don't understand. Yeah, for each Kickstarter, if you the highest level that we offer is you become a character in God's Punk's world. You are a godlink.
I'm gonna be Godpunk himself.
Yes. We're changing the name of Godpunk from Connor to Flip.
Flippity hippity.
Flippity hippity.
Flippity hippity. That's the name.
I like that name. I think it could sell thousands, if not dozens of thousands.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be groundbreaking.
The greatest. So what have you been like really focusing on about your collection? What are you wanting to collect?
Just Mecha and Toku.
Just Mecha and Toku?
Just Mecha and Toku. I want to have a museum like collection when it comes to the history of Mecha and Toku. By the way, I'm sending you something on Messenger. It's for me later. I'm sending you something real quick. It's for me to buy later. But I'm just focusing on Mecha and Toku because that's the stuff I really love. Like that's the stuff and I think I wasted too much time and energy on shit I didn't care about. I don't give a fuck about shonen at all. I'm gonna have that shelf behind me for sure. Everything on that shelf, unless I'm in super financial dire straits, then I'll sell Gantz singles and the Blade of the Immortal singles. But Blade of the Immortal, Gantz, Berserk, Blam, Vinland Saga, that stuff is staying in my collection. I mean, I've sold so much manga, and I'm still gonna sell more. But just Mecha and Toku is what I'm focusing on. I think the hauls are gonna be a lot smaller, a lot, but the things in there are gonna be a little bit more valuable. I'll probably do wait, what?
You'll be able to focus instead of buying things you don't want, or you don't really want to add to your collection, you'll be able to spend that extra money on things that you believe genuinely add value to your end goal.
But also, like, I want to it's cool. Like, I think people who collect to collect and have this massive collection, no hate or knock against you. I think that's cool. Personally, for me, it's not my thing. So, like, when I walk into my room, yeah, I don't have 5,000 volumes of manga, but I have, like, I think I'm like at like 500 now, like from 2,500 to 500 roughly. And it's still shrinking day by day. I'm selling stuff. But I can sit there and look at my collection and go, you know what? That's me. That's me to a T.
Like this collection reflects who I am.
Yeah, and for so long, I didn't talk about Toku or Mecha on my channel because I wanted it to be a manga channel. But I think my viewers stayed for the personality. Like, how many of us on MangaTube can say they had 60 people twice on a live stream watch them poop at a Barnes and Noble?
I can't, that's for sure.
Me, you know what I mean? So, I think people are there for the personality now. I don't think people are there for just a manga. I still get comments recommending, like people being like, "Hey, recommend me this," or like, "You should review this," which I love those comments. And sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I will pick that series up." But now people just watch.
Watch for you.
I think watch for me, and like every video that hasn't been a podcast in the last 2 months has gotten over 1,000 views. Like I'm like averaging like 1.2 or something is like the average. That's not a podcast. So I have an audience somewhere, and at the same time, I think I do something that's a little different. I think Boogie does it too. Boogie has a schedule, and I think that's good. But me and Boogie in particular, we're so forward facing with the people that watch us. Like we stream and we interact to a point where it feels like our people who tune in and view us, they're like our friends. Like like for instance, there's this guy named in Insomnia Sessions, which I actually sold him Ultimate Muscle. He dropped some bank on that. But I still need to ship it to him. So once this coronavirus thing is April 7th,
I actually did sell my Ultimate Muscle Volume 9.
For how much?
Okay, so I bought it for 15.
Okay. $75.
No.
100.
130.
I sold the whole lot for like 500.
Which ones did you have? Did you have the full series?
I have the whole series.
Dude, I'm not okay, this is gonna sound
obviously like I could make more money.
Yeah.
If I piece it out, but one, Insomnia Sessions is a friend. I would consider him a friend at this point. And two, I don't want it on my shelf anymore. I've owned it twice.
I made the mistake. With Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh. I actually think Kenshin's dope.
Couldn't get into it. I was like, after the first one, I was like, oh, right, I sold this the first time because I was like, oh, I actually don't like this. And partially because the author is just a shitty thing. But yeah. I also am very prominent about, I separate the art from the artist. That's my big thing is we can be objective about art. Say, hey, this person did a shitty thing. I don't want to support them, but the artwork that they did was good, or the story that they told was good.
My favorite show is The Apprentice. Donald Trump's a trash human being.
You're fired.
Just kidding. My favorite show is not The Apprentice, but
are you kidding? Your favorite show is Big Brother.
I've never seen any of that.
Neither have I.
I don't watch TV. I watched fucking Gundam.
Let me finish my thought on the. Like I said, realistically, like when I was pricing out the books for Ultimate Muscle, like there was like 3 or 4 of them go for over $100 a piece. And then the other ones after that, the only reason why I knew it was so expensive because I found it on Half Price Books. Like I found it at Half Price Books, and it was like, if they're selling a volume for $30, then it's an expensive volume.
Yeah.
Then I can probably sell it for like Bokurano. I have the full series of Bokurano.
You do?
Yeah.
You should hook a brother up.
No, sorry, Andrew Sudoku gave me this series, gave me the rest of the full, helped me finish the series. Like,
I'm saying a year from now, my birthday's in January, man.
I mean, I'll think about it, but it's such a good series.
I'll give you I'll give you the recipe of the sauce.
You're willing to trade the recipe for the sauce, the entire Bokurano series. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I sold Bokurano. I have the anime. The anime is pretty good.
The manga is so
very good.
It's so dark.
Very fucked up, dude. Especially the girl who was like a sex worker. I think it's like the second girl that dies, right? Like the first or second girl. Just
something stupid. Yeah.
It's
No. She wasn't. Her mother was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. Her mother was. But she was going to. She was willing.
She was going to do it because she was like, I have to. Family, and the person who did the deed didn't actually do the deed. He was like, no, just take the money, get out of here, dude. Some of these are like, it's ridiculous. The pricing difference on Bokurano is stupid. Volume number 3 is selling for $75. Volume number 9 is selling for $12.
Yeah. Three's been the one that's been out of print for whatever fucking reason.
Which is just weird.
There's like
weird. 2 more that are like yeah. There's you can buy the full series for $180. That's nuts. And I think number 7 is a little bit. There's a couple of them that are like harder to find. Number 3 is the hardest to get.
Number 3 is the hardest to get?
I think so. Yeah, because I'm seeing the rest of them sale.
I'm pretty sure it is number 3.
I accidentally paid $30 for it. Didn't mean to do that. You know that awkward moment when you go up to the cash register and you're paying for something and you didn't notice the price? And you're like, shit. And you're so embarrassed that you make sure that you have enough money in your account so you can buy it. And I had to do it because I'm not going to buy 1, 2, 4, and 5. Like, I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to not buy number 3. So if I don't buy number 1 and 2, if I don't buy number 3, I'm not going to buy anything else. So it's either I complete the entire purchase or I put it all back on the shelves. And I was like,
100%, dude. 100%.
Dude, there's just so much craziness like buying manga.
Yeah. Especially with, dude, speaking of buying anime, this is what I was talking about earlier. To focus my collection down. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. To focus my collection down, Japan has, from what I understand, the reason why Japanese DVDs and Blu-rays are so expensive is because they have a really high rental market still. So like, for instance, just being on DVD, right? Mm-hmm. Our Blu-ray here, it's 47 episodes, 1 disc, SD on Blu-ray. I think it retails $49.99, but you can get it for like $37 or whatever. In Japan, they would split that up into 3 Blu-rays, and then each would be at least $100.
No.
At least $100.
No, that's no.
It's stupid. It's stupid. But that's what I'm saying. It's like this is going to be an investment on that. Like, I want to have when I'm 80, I want to have every single tokusatsu show that's available on DVD and Blu-ray in my collection. I want to have every mecha anime ever.
That includes the ones that you can't get.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So that's the other thing, is that most of these shows are fan subbed. Not all of them, but there's fan sub groups that are very niche and they're fan subbing mecha and toku that don't make money. Like like Mega Beast Empire subs, they fan subbed all of Juspian, and then Discotech used their work. So the moment it got licensed, and the Toku community is actually pretty good about this. When a show gets picked up, they take it down everywhere. It's nowhere, like you can't find Juspian Mega Beast's work on Juspian anywhere online anymore. It's gone. Juspian is on Blu-ray, and now that's like I think that's the only time a fan subgroup in Toku has gotten paid for their work. So, but so the cool thing is you can take, for instance, you can take my Panzer World Galleon Blu-rays. You can download so like the way you do it is you put the Blu-ray, you can actually put subtitles on a Blu-ray disc. You have to have like a drive, you have to have the equipment, but you would then download the illegal copies, and you would rip because usually the subtitles are on a separate file. So you'd rip the subtitles and you would make sure everything aligns on the official one, and you would slap it on there. So you can then, if you have a region-free Blu-ray player, which I think if you're an anime fan, you should. A lot of stuff that's out in the UK is a lot cheaper than what we get here. Like Kill la Kill has a Blu-ray box set from Aniplex out here. It's like $150. I got the 3 Blu-rays from the UK for $20 a piece, $10 shipping. So it was like a huge difference.
Or like Bokurano. Bakano.
Yeah, Bakano. Yeah, that's
you can't buy Bakano in the United States.
What's the show I really like? Samurai Flamenco was a really good show from not that long ago. It's licensed by Aniplex here, never got put out. The UK's got a really solid Blu-ray, so just import it. So I would suggest, if you are taking anime collecting seriously, get a region-free Blu-ray player, and if you have the money, a region-free 4K Blu-ray player, because you just want one player. Luckily, 4K is not region locked anywhere, just because it's such a niche format. So far, I'm sure in generations when it becomes a standard, they will region lock it down. But right now, region free. So if you have the money to invest in it, get a region free Blu-ray player, like $150, and you can start importing stuff and playing it. And it's so awesome to have a collection of, like a complete collection of something. Like you can't get Neon Genesis Evangelion Blu-rays here in the States. You can get them in Japan. You can't get Kamen Rider Blu-rays here. You can't get Super Sentai. Like we have the Super Sentai DVDs. You can't get the Blu-rays. And you can't get the movies either. That's the other thing, is that Shout Factory, as much as I'm glad we have some, we got 12 Sentai series out of like the 40-something series that there are. We never got any of the films that tie into the movies or the crossovers or anything. So if you're a collector and you want anything like that, any cool extras, you got to have a region free. You got to go region free.
Which is dumb that they even do that. You have to get. They put regions on DVD.
I think it's so stupid, dude. I think it's. I think it's stupid. But I also think it's like another reason why Japan can get away with charging a fucking arm and a leg on their Blu-rays, dude, and their DVDs. Like if let's take my favorite recent Kamen Rider right now, which I don't own on Blu-ray. If you were to complete that show on Blu-ray, you know how much it would cost you to have 50 episodes of Kamen Rider Build without any of the movies, just the Blu-ray of the main season?
Can I take a guess?
Okay, take a guess.
$236.
$700.
That's too much.
It's way too much.
Why? Why?
Because they can do that. And prices are going up. Like I realized, was a Kamen Rider X, which is the 3rd or 4th Kamen Rider. It's my favorite of the older Kamen Riders. It's got Starfish Hitler in there as a villain. Google Starfish Hitler Kamen Rider X. It's hilarious.
I actually had to Google that. Yeah.
That Blu-ray, there's 2 sets to complete the show. I think they're like 130 a piece, which isn't terrible. But then the next release, the newest one, Kamen Rider 01, it's like $200 and something for like 12 episodes.
I just looked up Bakano. Radiant, like the OG Bakano.
Yeah.
$400 or I don't even remember how many episodes it is. It's 3
Is it
discs,
26?
maybe, but that is a ridiculous amount of money. I love One Piece, right? I
Yeah.
love One Piece. I don't drop money by. I will watch them Netflix or not Netflix, Crunchyroll. Because I can't justify spending that much money on something.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. If you're comfortable with it, it's whatever. But then again, some people just aren't fortunate enough to be able to do that.
No,
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? So, but also like what I want to do with my collection is I'm going to eventually write a book. I want to write a book on the history of mecha and eventually the history of Toku. And I have like some outlines, and I'm talking like a complete guide, like a complete every mecha anime ever in a book. And
Right now.
huh?
Better start right now.
I started me and On the Shelf did a podcast on Gurren Lagann last year before I went to Florida, and I was going to upload it when I got back. It was going to be the first thing on the channel. When I got back, hard drive was fucked up. I had to get a new hard drive, and on the hard drive was what I had already written. So I hadn't written a lot, but it was still kind of demoralizing, you know. So um, eventually that's the goal.
I'll give you a hug.
You can give me a hug. You know I love your hugs.
Here, bring it in. That hug felt amazing.
I had to mute my mic during that because I farted. I've actually been muting my mic on and off this whole time because I keep farting.
That's okay. That's fine.
But how long have we been recording?
Close to an hour.
Close to an hour. Do you want to go ahead and wrap it up here?
Before that, I just want to say a GameStop is going to permanently close 300 stores.
Permanently?
Permanently.
When did that happen? Just now?
3 hours ago.
Wow. Well, that's good because there's a store every block.
Well, they stayed open. They tried to call themselves an essential business during the pandemic, and government was like, "No, you ain't." But somebody's like, "This is why they fought so hard to stay open. They knew that if they closed the doors, they would never open again." And oh man, that's insane.
I'm not seeing it on Reddit yet.
Yeah, it's news. Our news.
Oh, it's on r/news?
Yes.
Wow.
See it?
Holy shit.
This is nuts. This is an end of an era.
Wait, how many stores do they have?
Looking it up right now.
I like my local GameStop, dude. The people here are cool.
So it's not as big as you think, but they have 4,700 stores.
That's still quite a bit.
Like 300 though, like 300.
Well, hey, just to put it in perspective, when we went to Florida to stay at my sister and my brother-in-law's house, and I went to GameStop. In the mall, there was 2 GameStops. Literally, one was like outside the mall, but you couldn't get into the mall from it. But if you walked to the right, went into the doors, and kept walking straight, there was another one in the mall.
Oh, why?
And then there was one 5 miles away. So within this small town in Florida, there was 3 GameStops within a 5-mile radius. You don't need that. And then our town, before they started shutting stuff down, there was 4 GameStops here. 4. Now there's 1. So GameStop, they hired Reggie Fils-Aimé, the guy who used to run Nintendo of America. So they want him to like save the brand, but I don't know.
They either want him to save the brand or they want him to shut it down.
They still have, I read what, like $6.5 billion in revenue. So they're still doing good.
But is that revenue or is that profit?
That's true. They need to have one store per town. Cut that shit down. They need to quit trying to sell me terrible statues of terrible anime like My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Z. They need to, like, literally, they are supposed to sell Gunpla. And I went into my GameStop and I said, hey, you guys have Gunpla? And he goes, no, but there's a store. Besides, people are like in the mood right now to buy from mom and pop shops. And I just found out that there's a mom and pop game store in town called Live Action Games. Shout out to them. Incredible, run by super nice people. The selection is amazing, and they have an entire wall of Gunpla that you can buy. So,
An entire wall.
Yeah, I mean that's where I got that big motherfucker
at. That is a big motherfucker.
And that's also where I got this other. I'll show you this one. This is another. My two biggest kits are from.
Pretty cool.
I gotta open this. Let's actually see what this looks like. I'm gonna open it live. Let's see how many runners there are live on the Manga Club.
Live-ish.
Oh my god! Look how big part of the wings are gonna be.
That's the size of your head.
Look at this. So many. What the fuck? What is a material box? What is a material box? What is this? I've never had this in a Gunpla box before. What is this? Materials.
Probably extra light. Is it glue?
What the fuck?
The glue.
No, it's like little... Oh, it's the wings, dude. It's the separate wings. The little tiny wings with like little...
It's the feathers?
It's like the feathers. It tells you not to bend the feathers. See, it's a heavy box. It's full of feathers. So I'm excited to build this eventually.
That's dope.
I have a lot of kits to build, dude. Actually, this isn't the biggest kit in my collection. Neither is the other one. I forgot. Do you want to see this thing?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so to put it into perspective. And this one's not even like a perfect grade. This one's a 1/100. So this is the 1/60th scale, right?
Yeah.
This is the 1/100th Phaz Verka.
That's a big Gundam.
It's because the gun is so big, and it's like a normal 1/100 scale Gundam, just with a massive
gun.
I mean, this is like a normal master grade box. I still gotta build this guy, motherfucker. This is a P Bandai exclusive. Still gotta build that dude. And then I got a nice little Starscream Transformers kit to build too. So I got enough to keep my hands busy for a while.
All right, I do think we got to start wrapping everything up because you and I both have to get to bed. You have a big day tomorrow.
Yes, we gotta go. So we gotta start cooking. So, dude, Brian, this was fun. Thanks for talking to me for 3 hours.
Not a problem. You forgot one thing. I have to ask you the important ending question.
Okay.
What is your favorite drink? Liquid. Duh.
Why? It's part of my brand. Because I'm addicted. I'm a crackhead.
Okay.
I'm addicted.
Fair enough. Water. Milk. Actually, milk's my favorite drink.
Water. How's it? Earth, fire, wind, dirt, fucking magnets. How do they work?
Whatever, juggalos. We out.
No, fuck juggalos.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that you weren't quoting. You just weren't quoting ICP off the top of your head.
I was. Fuck juggalos. I hate juggalos. I'm not racist. I'm not sexist. I'm not homophobic, but I absolutely hate juggalos.
After working at Spencer's for over almost 2 years, I can agree. I am not the biggest fan of juggalos.
Hell yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you for having me on. I love you guys.
Awesome. For everyone new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohali, and I will see you next video.